Hi, I'm Silke. If you're new to my channel, I am a psychologist and life coach, and I make videos for handling typical social interactions like talking to your boss or talking to your colleagues, or about conflict management and stress management. Welcome to today's video about something that many of us have faced at one point or another in our careers: being criticized by your boss in front of others. Yeah, it's not the most pleasant experience, but it happens, right? The big question is, though, how do you handle criticism at work, especially when it's public? Let's dive into some different approaches you can take to deal with that situation effectively. First things first, let's acknowledge that getting criticized, especially in front of your colleagues, can be a real hit to your confidence. This experience can be quite jarring, making you feel exposed and vulnerable in a professional setting where you strive to be seen as competent and capable. Imagine this scenario. You're in a meeting discussing a project you've been working hard on for weeks, perhaps even months, and you poured your energy, creativity, and late nights into crafting something you believe in. The room is filled with your peers, maybe even some higher ups who you hope to impress. And you're presenting your ideas with a mixture of excitement and nerves. And then, out of the blue, your boss interrupts, pointing out what they perceive as a flaw in your approach. This critique, however well intentioned it might be, feels like a spotlight suddenly shining on you, highlighting your perceived shortcomings. In that moment, you might feel a wave of embarrassment wash over you, as if the room has suddenly become much warmer. Your face might get hot, and you might sense your heart pounding in your chest, each beat echoing in your ears. All these physical reactions are natural and are your body's way of responding to what it sees as a threat. It's an evolutionary mechanism, so you can't change that, dating back to when our ancestors had to be alert to physical dangers in their environment. Now, let's pause and consider why this happens. Criticism, especially when unexpected, triggers a fight or flight response. Your brain perceives the critique as a potential attack on your social standing, something that is crucial in any workplace setting. The response is deeply rooted in our need to belong and be accepted by our community. In today's world, our community translates to our work environment and colleagues, making professional criticism feel intensely personal. But here's the silver lining. Understanding these reactions can empower you to manage them better. The key is to recognize the physical signs of stress and give yourself a moment to breathe and regroup. You might try techniques such as deep breathing or reframing the criticism as a learning opportunity rather than a personal attack. This shift in perspective can help transform an uncomfortable moment into a chance for growth and improvement. So, the next time you find yourself in this situation, remember that these feelings are completely normal and that you have the tools to handle them. With practice, you can turn criticism into a stepping stone towards greater confidence and professional development. Embrace the feedback, learn from it, and don't forget to be kind to yourself in the process. After all, every professional journey is filled with ups and downs, right? And each experience contributes to your growth. Emotional responses like feeling embarrassed or frustrated or even angry are all perfectly normal. It's essential to recognize and accept these feelings rather than suppress them. For example, frustration might arise from the feeling that your hard work isn't being appreciated, or anger might stem from the perception that the criticism is unfair or delivered in a demeaning manner. Understanding why you feel a certain way can help you manage your reactions better. But The key is not letting those emotions take over and dictate your response. When you are in the moment, try to stay as calm and composed as possible. This can be easier said than done, of course, but there are practical techniques you can use. For instance, taking a deep breath can help activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for calming you down, so a very easy method. You might also try counting to 5 before responding, giving yourself a moment to collect your thoughts. Remind yourself that this isn't the end of the world. Perspective is crucial here. Criticism, while uncomfortable, is often an opportunity for growth and improvement. Think of it as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. By maintaining your composure, you demonstrate professionalism and maturity. This is important not just for your self-respect, but also for how others perceive you. Consider this. If you react defensively or angrily, it might confirm any negative assumptions your boss or your colleagues might have. On the other hand, if you handle the situation with grace, it can earn you respect and show that you can handle pressure and feedback constructively, even if your boss's timing and delivery leave much to be desired. For example, you might say something like, "I appreciate the feedback and will definitely look into it. Could we perhaps discuss this in more detail after the meeting?" This not only shows that you are open to criticism, but also sets a boundary, indicating that a more private setting would be more appropriate for such discussions. Another approach is to reflect on the feedback after the meeting. Once you are away from the public eye, take some time to think about what was said. Was there any truth to the criticism? Is this an area where you genuinely need to improve? Self-reflection is crucial for personal and professional growth, of course. It can be helpful to jot down your thoughts and feelings about the situation to process them better. You might realize that while the delivery was poor, the feedback itself was valid. If you find that you do need to make changes, create an action plan. What steps can you take to improve in the areas your boss mentioned? Setting specific measurable goals can help you track your progress and show your boss that you are committed to improving. If after reflecting you still feel that the criticism was unfair or not constructive, it might be worth having a private conversation with your boss. Choose a time when you can speak one-on-one without any interruptions. Approach the conversation with a mindset of seeking to understand rather than to confront. You could start by saying something like, "I wanted to follow up on the feedback you gave me earlier. I appreciate your input and want to make sure I fully understand your concerns." This opens the door for a more in-depth discussion and shows that you are taking their feedback seriously. During this conversation, you can also express how the public nature of the criticism affected you. For example, you might say, "I found it a bit challenging to receive that feedback in front of the team. In the future, could we discuss such matters privately?" Most reasonable bosses will appreciate your honesty and be open to adjusting their approach. Now, let's talk about another aspect: building resilience and focusing on the bigger picture. Sometimes criticism, especially public criticism, can feel like a personal attack. We already talked about that. But it's important to remember that it's usually about your work, not you as a person. Developing a thick skin can help you take feedback in stride and not let it derail your confidence. One way to build resilience is to practice self-care and stress management techniques. Whether it's exercising or meditating or engaging in a hobby you love, taking care of your mental and emotional health can make it easier to handle criticism when it comes your way. Another aspect of building resilience is seeking support from your network. Talk to trusted colleagues, talk to mentors or friends about the situation. They can offer valuable perspectives and perhaps share their own experiences with criticism at work. Sometimes just knowing that you are not alone and that others have navigated similar challenges can make a huge difference. Additionally, they might have practical advice or any coping strategies that you haven't thought of. Lastly, keep your eye on the long-term goals. Remember why you are in this job and what you hope to achieve. Criticism is often a part of the journey to growth and improvement. By focusing on your overall career objectives, you can put individual instances of criticism into perspective. They become a part of your learning and development process rather than defining moments. In conclusion, dealing with criticism at work, especially when it's given in front of others, is undoubtedly tough. However, by staying calm and composed, by reflecting on the feedback, and by having private follow-up conversations and building resilience, you can navigate these challenging situations more effectively. Remember, the goal is not just to handle criticism, but to use it as a tool for growth. So the next time you find yourself on the receiving end of public criticism, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you have the skills and strategies to turn it into a positive experience. You've got this. All right, I hope you found the video helpful today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss any of my future new videos. Also, if you subscribe, it really helps my channel grow and it helps me make more useful and helpful content for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video.